The notice sat heavy, a dead weight on the flimsy paper. David read the words for the 10th time. Restructuring, redundancy. Each syllable a hammer blow against the life he had carefully built. His job, a pillar of his existence for 12 years, was gone. Just like that. The silence in his small, recently purchased home, nestled on a quiet street in what locals called Thorne's Folly, felt immense. He had bought the place cheap, a fixer-upper with a sprawling, neglected backyard. It was supposed to be a new beginning, a quiet retreat after the frantic pace of the city. Now it was just another responsibility, another debt. David needed a distraction. The overgrown patch beneath the ancient oak tree became his target. He swung the shovel, the dull thud of earth against metal, a rhythm against the anxiety thrumming in his veins. Then a different sound, a sharp, distinct clink. His shovel had struck something hard, something metallic, not a rock. He knelt, brushing away the soil, and a dull gleam emerged. It was a ring, heavy and cold, not gold but a dark, aged bronze. Its surface was covered in intricate, almost alien symbols, strange hieroglyphs unlike anything he had ever seen. It felt ancient, undeniably old, and entirely out of place in a suburban backyard. The ring stirred a new, urgent curiosity in David, a welcome distraction from his unemployment. He began to research the property's past. Old land deeds, dusty town records, even forgotten local histories. The name Elias Thorne emerged quickly. He was the previous owner, a recluse who had purchased the sprawling estate in the late 1890s. Thorne was an oddity even then. He inherited a vast, unexplained fortune. Whispers circulated. Some said he'd found a lost mine, others that he'd stumbled upon ancient forbidden knowledge. Thorne devoted his life and his wealth to what he called esoteric archaeology, primarily focusing on obscure Egyptian cults and forgotten desert cities. Among his most intense pursuits was the legend of a boy king buried alive by his treacherous older brother, and a curse. The curse stated that the ring buried with the boy king would afflict misfortune, even ruin, upon whoever buried it and their lineage. Thorne believed he could either control this ancient malevolence, or perhaps find a way to sever its grip. He transformed his quiet suburban estate into a personal museum of the bizarre. Thorne's obsession deepened. Stories from old town records painted a vivid picture. He imported strange artifacts, commissioned cryptic carvings, and held late-night study sessions with equally eccentric scholars. His estate, once merely large, became a labyrinth of hidden rooms and guarded curiosities. The townspeople, initially amused, grew wary. Thorne rarely left his property, consumed by what he believed was a grand unraveling of ancient secrets. His health deteriorated, his eyes grew feverish, and he spoke of the final key, a missing piece that would unlock unimaginable power or understanding. It was during this period that Thorne, according to fragmented notes, located the fabled ring. The legend was that the power behind the curse could be controlled by reburying it on one's own land, controlling its power rather than succumbing to it. Yet the curse was absolute. The truth was it afflicted whoever buried it. Shortly after his attempt to re-enter the ring, its dark influence manifested. Thorne began to lose everything. His fortune dwindled, his sanity fractured, and he spoke of an unseen force draining his life. He lost the ring itself, perhaps in a moment of delirium or desperate attempt to cast it off, somewhere in his sprawling, neglected grounds. Then, as suddenly as his fortune appeared, Elias Thorne vanished. One morning his servants found the house empty, his studies left open, his cryptic notes scattered across his desk. No forced entry, no struggle, just absence. The authorities investigated but found nothing, no body, no trace. Thorne simply ceased to exist. The town whispered of curses, of ancient entities summoned, of a man consumed by the very darkness he sought to master. The estate, Thorne's Folly, lay derelict for decades, its gardens overgrown, its secrets buried under layers of dust and neglect. The curse, however, persisted, silently clinging to Thorne's remaining family, manifesting as unexplained misfortunes and a slow generational decline. Until a century later, David, facing his own quiet crisis, stumbled upon a fragment of Thorne's forgotten obsession. The bronze ring felt heavier now, its dark stone seeming to pulse with a faint, malevolent energy. David understood the allure. In his current state of job loss, the idea of an ancient secret, perhaps a hidden treasure, was tempting. This ring, clearly an artifact of Thorne's obsession, could be his ticket out. But as he pieced together the lore, the full weight of the curse settled upon him. The ring had belonged to a boy king, buried alive by his brother, and the curse followed whoever committed the act of burying it. Thorne had reburied it, inheriting the curse, which led to his downfall and past misfortune onto his descendants. David had merely unburied it, not initiating the curse, but by doing so he had become inextricably linked to its long, dark history. The ring's fate, and the fate of those afflicted by its ancient grievance, now rested in his hands. He was responsible for finding a way to end the curse for good, not just dispose of the object. Greed whispered promises of power, while a chilling dread, born of his new understanding, urged caution and a profound responsibility. David chose a different path. The ring was not merely an object to be cast away. It was a conduit for an ancient wrong. To truly end the cycle, the very essence of the curse had to be neutralized. He found the old stone basin, half buried in the overgrown garden, and filled it with clear spring water. With focused intent, David placed the dark bronze ring into the basin. As the ring touched the water, the dark stone pulsed, then dissolved. But this was no mere dissolution. David was flung backward, a torrent of images and sensations assaulting his mind. He saw it all: the young boy king, betrayed, buried alive by his own brother, the suffocating darkness, the silent scream. He felt the cold, crushing earth, the desperate struggle for air, the profound injustice. Then Thorne. Not just a collector, but a man who had glimpsed this very horror, who had reburied the ring in a desperate, flawed attempt to contain the despair he himself had witnessed through its power. The vision ended as abruptly as it began. David stumbled, his mind reeling, but a clarity emerged from the chaos. The curse was not merely misfortune. It was the psychic echo of a buried life, a desperate plea for recognition. David had not just broken the ring, he had witnessed its truth. A new weight settled over him. The moment the ring dissolved, an immediate shift rippled through the world. The long shadow over the Thorne family, generations of quiet misfortune and unexplained failures began to recede. A distant cousin, struggling with debt, suddenly received an unexpected inheritance. An aunt battling a lingering illness experienced a swift and complete recovery. The subtle, insidious grip of the curse was gone. For David, the change was more profound. The visions were not just memories. They had awakened a dormant ancestral gift within him. He was a descendant of the boy king's most trusted guard, a lineage tasked with protecting ancient secrets. He now possessed an uncanny ability to sense hidden connections, to intuit the locations of long-lost objects, particularly those steeped in ancient history. This led him to an obscure, forgotten map in his own attic, part of Thorne's overlooked collection, which, through David's newfound insight, revealed the true, precise location to the lost tomb of none other than Alexander the Great.